Hey everyone, it's Kelly. I'm back today with a new project and hopefully a new series that I'm going to be having on my YouTube channel. And I am documenting in a Citrus Twist Life Crafted album. This is actually the first time that I've ever documented in this size. If you're not familiar with the Citrus Twist Life Crafted albums, they're basically a traveler's notebook size album. They do come with page protectors, but I have decided that I want to work outside the protector. So I have cut my paper to the size of the page protector, which is roughly 5 by 8 1/4. So it's 10 inches wide by 8 1/4 tall with what I'm working with here because I am going to create a double page spread. What I'm going to be documenting in this album are my photos from my Thursday 3 posts that I'm posting on Instagram. I've decided that I am going to hopefully post one each week, and then I'm going to document in this album what I choose to share each week. Another reason that I wanted to start this project is I've really been neglecting my scrapbooking products because I've been so focused on Project Life that I have just been using the products that come each month in my kits. So this is a great way for me to really do some stash diving and use up as much as I can. For this week's layout, I grabbed a bunch of the Maggie Holmes Flourish collection. I don't know if I even used any of this collection after I purchased it. I didn't buy a whole lot of it. I have the 6x8 paper pad, one of the die cut packs, and I think the 6x12 sticker sheet. I think that's all that I have, but I find that a lot of Maggie Holmes collections really go well together. So I did grab a few other things from my stash to try to use up. And right now I'm just playing with layering. I know that I want to keep an area open for journaling because I do want to include the 3 things that I shared in the Thursday 3 post. And if you're not familiar with Thursday 3, it is a selfie challenge that was started by another scrapbooker. Her name on Instagram is Are You Kristen? And it's just a challenge to snap a selfie and post 3 things that are currently happening in your life at that moment. It can be lighthearted, it can be serious, it can be whatever you want it to be. And I had never taken part in this selfie challenge. I was actually tagged by a crafty friend, Allison, and it was the first time that I was ever tagged. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So it was New Year's Eve. So this is the very first selfie that I posted for the challenge, and I'm just going to include the things that I included in my Instagram post. And I think it'll be fun at the end of the year to flip back through this album to see all the different things that I shared and just the things that were currently happening in my life at that moment. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. One thing that I have noticed since starting this album is how much I'm enjoying the layering. With Project Life, since everything fits into a pocket, it has to be pretty thin. So I am just having a blast adding all the layers. This one actually ends up pretty thick. I'm going to have to tame it down just a little bit or else my album is going to get full really, really fast. But it was fun to add in all the layers and add a little bit of dimension and just play around with the product. I really did enjoy it. Okay, so getting back to what I'm actually doing in the video, I'm going to go ahead and start adhering a few things down. I adhered down the pattern papers, and then I was about ready to adhere down that whole cluster with my photo, and I remembered that I wanted to add some stitching. Since I'm working outside the page protector, it is a lot of fun to add stitching and texture because it's very tactile since you don't have that plastic covering the pages. So I am trying to add as much texture as possible to these. Again, it's another thing that is different from Project Life because it is outside the page protector. So I'm going to create a cluster on the left-hand side using my photo along with some embellishments. So I didn't really have a rhyme or reason why I chose the things that I did. I just started layering things on top of each other until I found a combination of those things that I was happy with. So I'm still continuing to go through and just trying to figure out what I want to use. Now, one thing about this collection and kind of crepe paper in general, their die cuts and their stickers are huge. I don't know why they're so big. I am working in a smaller format, so I think that they look even larger than normal. But I had noticed that as a trend, and I know a lot of other scrapbookers did too over the past couple years, that the die cuts and the embellishments were just getting humongous. So I was trying to use as much as I could because again, I'm trying to go through my stash. I want to use these things up, which is a completely different mentality from what I had, say, 5 years ago. I was so particular in what I was using and worried that there would be a project that would be better suited for that later on. But I'm really trying this year just to use it up. Like that craft pattern paper that I have down there, there's only a small portion of it showing. And 3, 4 years ago, I would have only trimmed out the portion that you see and kept the other part. I'm not doing that this year. I'm going to use it up. I have so much in my stash that there will always be something to use. So that is something that I'm really trying to focus on this year. So now that I'm pretty happy with what's going on the left-hand side of the spread, I'm going to move on to the right-hand side. And because I have a cluster kind of towards the top area of the spread, I'm going to create a cluster more towards the lower portion on the right-hand side, just for a little bit of balance. And again, I do want to make sure that I keep an area open for journaling. So I'm going to use that tag with the different color stripes on it. I'm going to use that as the area for my journaling. Now I'm still just going through and trying to find embellishments. Because that tag had that teal and aqua color to it, I felt like I needed to add a little bit of that on the left-hand side of the spread. So I just went through the stickers to see what I could find. I found a heart sticker that had that same color, and then I also found a flower, and the leaves on the flower were those same colors. So that brings just a little bit of that color over onto that side and really just helps your eye dance around. I tried to create a visual triangle with those things. I went ahead and added the journaling onto that tag using my We Are Memory Keepers typecast typewriter. And now I'm just adding some twine in the center of those tags. Again, another textural element. I do want to add the date to these spreads so that way I know what week it was and what the date was, so I know what was currently happening on that day or that week. So I am using a date stamp from scrapbook.com, and it's similar to the mega date stamps from Studio Calico, but I find this to be a little bit easier to use. Since they're clear stamps, you can actually see where you're stamping. So I grabbed that out along with some scrapbook.com ink, and I'm just going to add that label right underneath my photo. I'm bringing in another one of those teal aqua color embellishments onto the spread. It's just like a little flourish that I added underneath the label, again, just to bring more of that color over and just to help your eye dance around. I went ahead and added some stamping to the tag. I added the word currently, and that is a stamp set from Elle's Studio. And I will try to include links to all of this stuff if you're interested in checking it out for anything that's still available in the description box below. Again, I'm using a lot of scrapbook products from my stash, so I'm not sure how much of it will be available, but I will check for the links for you. So I'm just going to go ahead and adhere things down now. Because I am working outside the page protector, I really want to make sure that things stay stuck. So I'm going to use liquid adhesive for the most part because I know that it has a really strong hold. And I really liked the placement of the layers, so I did not want to lift them up. So I was just peeling them up piece by piece, adding a little bit of adhesive underneath them. So that way I didn't have to remember the exact position of where I had everything. Still, I'm going through the stickers and the embellishments. Again, I'm wanting to use as much as I can. So I added another label sticker, just tucked it next to that currently tag, just to bring in another pop of black and again, to use it up. I also grabbed a paper clip. It has little hearts on it. I think I tucked it in under the photo. That is what added the most bulk to this layout. I do add a little bit of foam to a couple things that were just kind of naturally wanting to lift off the page just to make sure that they stayed secure. But that paper clip added so much bulk. It has resin on top of it. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up keeping it on the spread or not, depending on how thick the album gets. But for right now, I'm going to leave it on there. I like the way it looks. And again, used it up, got it out of my stash. I decided that there was a little bit of a void between some of the text on my tag, so I just grabbed a camera sticker and added that on there. Again, another pop of black. I felt like I was missing some pops of black here and there. I had the camera and the label, but I felt like I needed to add a little bit more. So I went back to that same currently stamped set from Elle Studio and black ink, and there was a heart on there. So I just grabbed that, added a couple hearts, and then I decided that I needed to add one more on the left-hand side of the spread just to kind of tie the two pages together. So I end up adding one underneath the date. And I'm going to show you some close-ups here so you can see everything in a little bit more detail. I know that I mentioned this in my Project Life videos, but if this is something that you enjoyed, please either give it a thumbs up or leave a comment. That is the only way that I can tell if these type of videos are enjoyed and if I should continue making them. I do have another week already recorded, so I will make sure to publish that, and I'll probably publish a few more just to get a feel on whether or not this is something that people are enjoying. So please give me some feedback. Let me know what you think. If it's something you'd like to see more of, I would love to hear your opinions on this type of project. And I do want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll be back again soon.